Boom, baby. We're going.
All
Episode
right.
5.
So, just to get this out of the way, this is no longer Cool Ranch Conspiracy Corner. It's just Cool Ranch Corner, which means we can talk about whatever we want.
We have decided that we'll try and come up with like a main topic to start with, and then kind of just let the conversation go from there. And one thing that we've been talking about a lot outside of this is cryptocurrency. So we're gonna start with that, and then just kind of go wherever we want for like the next 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, and I mean, just to get out of the way, Bitcoin, everybody knows what that is. Not much really to say about it, except for the fact that it it's probably going to get overtaken by Ethereum
You really
pretty
think it's gonna get
soon.
overtaken?
Dude, within the next like few years, yeah.
Dude,
Because
I
the thing
mean,
is, they're saying Ethereum's way more useful than Bitcoin.
see, and like my issue with cryptocurrency is one, I don't have the time to like research the stuff. But like I hear stuff like that from people who have I know for a fact have like they don't even know anything about stocks, but they're like, "Oh yeah, it's because this one's more useful." And it's like, "What do you mean by that?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know. I just know it's more useful." That's what they said. Well, who said
Uh,
that? Sorry, my
yeah,
wife
I get what
messed with my hair, so
you're
all messed up.
well, because the thing is, so the person that I keep hearing it from is uh, Wheelhouse, our mod,
One of my mods, yeah.
and yeah, and he watches a ton of videos on this stuff. So for all that I know, like he could be wrong, and I'm very skeptical, but I can see why it might happen. Just apparently there's a lot of benefits with it, just including just like security and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Plus, it's so hard to get into Bitcoin now. Like in order to actually mine Bitcoin, you have to get what's called an ASIC miner, which they cost like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's
Whereas
the
with
Bitcoin is I tell people ask me like, "Hey man, what do you know about crypto?" And I'm like, "All I know is that Bitcoin the ship has sailed. I know that for a
yeah,
fact."
yeah,
If anybody who says like, "Oh yeah, dude, I'm investing in Bitcoin," tell them, "Hey, you might want to like rethink that. Go look into some stuff because Bitcoin, it's just like there's no point. What are you gonna do with the coin that one coin is worth 40 grand? What do you have? You know, you're putting 40 grand into one coin, bro.
I mean it's worth 60 grand
Oh
actually,
yeah,
but
see that's how out of the loop I am. But I mean, last time I remember looking and going, yeah, that ship has sailed. It was already at like 40 grand. So
yeah, and Ethereum right now is at 2,000. This week it actually hit a new high. I think it hit 2150, 21
yeah.
something. It $2,100, which is yeah, it's the highest it's ever been. Um, and then there's a couple other ones that have been popping up. There's Cardano, there's Algorand,
So
but
I'm gonna be 100% transparent because I basically just took the money I had from Dogecoin. I put about 500 into Dogecoin, sold it, made about $1,500. So I have 2 grand, and I put that 2 grand. By the way, they raised my limit because my issue was they were like, "Oh, you have a limit of 1,000, whatever." But now it
yeah,
says like I could deposit like 50 grand if I wanted. I don't. By the way, I don't have 50 grand to deposit, but like that's taken care of now. Like I don't have to worry about like being limited to just 1,000 one time. So I put the other 1,000 in. I have 500 that I put into Ethereum. And by the way, we are not financial advisors, so don't just be like, "Oh, well, Danny said, put money in Cardano, so I put my whole life savings. I was saving for a car, but I just put it all in there." Like, don't do that. Okay, I don't want nobody's mama or daddy coming after me or a lawyer or something. So don't listen to me. I'm an idiot. Um, but I have 500 in Cardano, 500 in Algorand, which I'll be honest, I don't know much about except that they pay you like what's 6% or something on it.
yeah, they pay you a little bit of
Yeah,
Cardano
it's like
or
you get a dividend
Monero.
basically from
Yeah,
it, which makes it
like,
unique.
and if you don't know what
Um,
a dividend is, it's basically like, let's say you invest in Apple, right? Every I don't know how often they do it, but
I
every
think
once
it's
in a while they'll
quarterly,
actually it's quarterly, probably.
something like that.
So we'll say every quarter, which would be 3 months, they send you a little bit of money. based on how
for holding
many
that
shares
stock.
you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and usually like if you barely have anything in there, it's maybe like a few cents to $1. If you have a
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
you might get more than that.
There's
But
big millionaire, billionaire type people out there who have money in stocks. So much money in stocks that the dividends are literally what they live off of.
Yeah.
So it's like that. But I mean, the coin is worth. I just looked like $1.44, which is up. That's up. I think it was like $1.21 or something like that when I got in. That it was worth. So I have 250 in Cardano, or sorry, 500 in Cardano, 500 in Algorand, and I have 1,000 in Ethereum. And I plan on investing, probably about 1,000 a month into Ethereum until. I mean, I don't know until when, but like what we were gonna get at is that Chris, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I mean, you and the mods have been saying that at some point in the near future they're supposed to make it so you can't mine Ethereum anymore. Like they're gonna put a hard cap on it, right?
yeah, so with that,
Which will cause the price to skyrocket.
yeah, so if you know anything about economics, all right, there's the whole
Supply and
idea
demand.
of supply and demand. Yeah, which basically the way that would work with like crypto, for example, is let's say with Bitcoin, if there was an infinite amount, right? It really wouldn't be worth that much because, well, you can get as much as you want
Yeah.
if you really try hard enough. But because there's a cap on it, and trust me, there is, it basically gives you an incentive to try and get as much as you can because, in theory, when it's all out, if you have a ton of it, you control a lot of that market. All right.
It's like owning
So with
shares of a
Ethereum,
company, you know?
yeah, with Ethereum, same thing applies. They're hoping to put a limit on it so that it'll bump the price like crazy. When I first heard about it, I was told, "Oh, well, it's gonna happen in the summer."
Yeah.
Well, which that's not the case. Apparently, it's gonna be in a few years.
Oh, even better, dude. I'm just gonna keep investing
Yeah,
then.
that's the thing.
I'm gonna sell
So
my Cardano and my Algorand and just put it all in.
you can do two things. You can do two things. Okay, you can either invest in it, or you could mine for it. Which there's pros and cons to both. I'll tell you right now, I'm doing both. Okay. Mining though, it's basically if you have any graphics cards, just put them to work. I would not recommend trying to buy an ASIC for it or buying used graphics cards and stuff like that. Mostly because if you go on like Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Amazon, any cards that are available, whether they're used or brand new, are going to be way overpriced, especially right now when we're dealing with the after effects of the pandemic, where a bunch of the actual manufacturing of graphics cards and just like computer components in general has been severely crippled. Okay. So let's say, for example, like a 3080, I think retails for 750 MSRP. You can see
Yeah.
some of them for like 1,500 right now.
Yeah,
like
they're
double
pretty
the
much
price.
double, yeah. Dude, my
Yeah, and
my 1080 Ti that is like a 4-year-old card almost goes for $800 right now.
yeah, which is actually more than I bought mine for. So if I sold mine, I'd make money off of it. Am I gonna do that? No. But yeah, it's insane. Like cards are so rare now that, or new ones, that if you have a card, chances are the amount of money that you paid for it is lower than what you could sell it for.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, so right now Ethereum is at $2,113, and over some short skimming of the internet, the numbers that I saw thrown around is that once they put a hard cap on Ethereum, whenever that's going to be, you should expect it to jump anywhere from 5 to 10 times what the price is. So if right now you had one Ethereum and all of a sudden they put a hard cap on it, it would be worth anywhere from 10 to 20 grand. That's insane. That is like, that's what everybody wants, is this Bitcoin level of return, but we haven't gotten it from any other coin except Bitcoin. And anybody who wants it, they feel like, you know, the ship has sailed. Can't really do that right now. So Ethereum is what everybody's looking at right now. And I mean, it's life changing if you play your cards right.
Yeah.
Literally
And,
life changing.
I forgot who said it, but maybe it was Stungies, or maybe it was, I don't know. Somebody had said that if you have 10 Ethereum in a few years, you could be a millionaire. I was like, yeah, that's actually like, it's a fair point. And
yeah. I mean, the biggest thing that's limited Bitcoin is like the usage just hasn't like been fully accepted.
Well, that's why the price has been going up lately. It's because companies are starting to invest in it.
Yeah.
Like Tesla, for example, they're accepting Bitcoin as a way to pay for a Tesla. And
Yeah.
me, I know on Twitch I made it so that you can actually accept crypto donations.
Yeah, Bitcoin's at $57,000 a coin.
Which is actually not the highest it's been. So
yeah, it's not. But
but so now, like, if somebody was to have like a bunch of Dogecoin or Algorand they didn't want. Actually, I don't know about Dogecoin because it's all through Coinbase, but
yeah, you can't. Dogecoin. A lot of people stopped. Allowing trading for it because it's so volatile.
Well, anyways, so you can literally donate with whatever crypto you want as long as it's on Coinbase. So someone could straight up, if they really wanted to, they could donate 1 Ethereum. If they just had a bunch of it and they were like, yeah, I don't really need it, they could literally do that. Now, am I saying it's going to happen? No, because it probably isn't. But someone could do that. That's why I think that's a pretty cool way of actually going about it, is that, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of people who are out there who have a bunch of crypto that they just like don't know what to do with. And so if someone really feels like doing that, they can. It gives people another option to sort of pay for stuff. Dogecoin, though, that's you bring up something kind of interesting. For starters, the only reason why that thing ever jumps up in price is because Elon Musk tweets about it. Okay, that's literally it, because he tweeted about putting an actual Dogecoin on the moon, and I think it jumped up like to 7 cents while it was at 5. So like it made a difference.
Yeah.
Dogecoin is freaking useless, dude. It's a meme coin. That's all it is. And like, if you get money out of it, you're basically just like you're I guess the best way to put it is you're getting money from people who are just wasting money. So someone could invest, you know, a couple thousand in Dogecoin and be like, oh, well, I hope it goes up. And then it goes down because someone else who put a few thousand in there like a year ago or something and has been waiting to sell it finally sees the price has gone up, and they'll just sell their Dogecoin, and then they made money or they broke even or whatever, and someone else just lost a bunch of money off of it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's like, I've seen a lot of people that are really knowledgeable about crypto and stuff are just like, why? Like, people don't understand that Dogecoin is just a huge pump and dump scheme. You know, like that's why I got out so quick. Because I was like, the only way I'm going to make money off of this is if I get in so early that like there's no doubt that it's going to go up to at least, you know, a couple cents. Because I got in when Dogecoin was like 0.003 cents or something, and I sold it for like, I think 3 or 4 cents. Which people are like, oh, dude, you should have waited till you're at 8 cents. But I'm like, dude, there's people who got in at 4 or 5 cents and sold at 8 cents and made the same amount as me. So I'm really not. I made money. I quadrupled my money. I'm not complaining. You know.
Yeah.
So
meanwhile, I'm over here. I bought in on Roblox on the IPO, and Robinhood is a piece of garbage, and I ended up buying in at freaking $70 as opposed to 65 or whatever it was, or 60 something. I forgot how low it was, but so I had to wait like a month before I could sell and break even. because Robinhood sucks. I was like, God
Yeah.
dang it, man! So I finally sold it.
That was the other thing is I told my wife that I wanted to get out now because I had seen people complain that their money was like locked up. It wouldn't let them sell or buy anything. I was like, boom! As soon as I started hearing that, I'm like, I'm out. Screw Robinhood, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, Robinhood was nice because like you would have a friend use your link or you'd use their link or whatever, and you'd get like a free stock. But like the chances of you getting something good were pretty low. I think I got like ADT, and it was negative for like 6 months. I was like, all
Jeez,
right,
dude.
well,
What's it called? So did you listen to the call between Elon Musk and the CEO of Robinhood?
no.
So after the whole fiasco, like Elon Musk asked the CEO on some kind of like podcast call or something. I don't know if it was some phone call, and the phone call got posted. But it was like Elon Musk, the CEO of Robinhood, and a couple other people on some kind of conference call together. And Elon Musk was like, "What happened?" And the CEO of Robinhood, was like, "People don't understand that when people buy a stock on our platform, that we have to fork over a percentage to back that for insurance purposes. So if everybody and their mother starts buying GameStop, we don't have the money to insure that. So we had to stop it because we're literally would have to take out like a huge business loan to back it. Like it was not feasible. They had to like stop it right away because it was like, we're literally going to go negative. We don't have that kind of liquid assets to back that. Like they're like, it's literally like, it's sketchy for them. Like at the end of the day, you have to save yourself. But I was just like, you shouldn't be promising things then if you can't do that. You know, that's how I feel about it. It's like,
yeah, but it's in their terms and conditions, man. They didn't promise anything.
Well, they promised that anybody would, it was for the people, this and that, like, for people who feel like they can't get in on like the Wall Street stuff, it was for the average person to be able to invest, So if they they literally stop the average person from investing, it feels like going against exactly what their motto was when they started. So
yeah, but if you're looking to invest in crypto, don't use Robinhood. I mentioned it before, Coinbase. I think they're great because it's literally just crypto, and they even, which I think this is kind of funny, if you use someone else's link, which, I mean, I don't know if you're able to put yours or both of ours in the description or whatever. If you do, awesome. If not, whatever. But basically, if you use someone else's link to join Coinbase and then you put $100 into Coinbase for like cryptos or whatever, then both parties receive $10 worth of Bitcoin. Cool thing about that, the $10 worth of Bitcoin that I got, within like a week, it went up to 11. So I made $1 off of basically like a free piece of Bitcoin, which I was like, oh, it's pretty nice. So definitely like a nice little thing on there where, they technically aren't really giving you a whole lot, but in the future it could get big because Bitcoin's always going to be something that's kind of, a big deal. Even if it doesn't ever stay at the top, it's still pretty sought after.
Sorry, I was talking to G Fuel partner manager, so I don't mean to I know you only got so much time, so that's why I was like looking down and stuff. But I wanted to also bring up the thing with buying used cards. I had a buddy when I was in San Francisco that bought like it was either a 1080 or a 1080 Ti, I don't remember. And for what sounded like a good deal. It was like $600 or something, which at the time that was a $1,000 card. He got it, and within like a couple days it stopped working. And he tries to get a hold of the guy. The guy's like account is gone, and then he finds like a Facebook listing, and there's people commenting saying, "Hey, I bought a card from you," and it died right away. And people are like, these are probably like a batch of mining cards. So like, there's people out there who have all these mining rigs where they have like anywhere from like 5 to 100 of these graphic cards all wired in series to mine coins. and they will literally use them to the point where they know, like, all right, like if I don't sell them right now, like they're gonna stop working, and then I can't get any money back for them. So you got to be really careful. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Just like with anything. Like right now, you're not gonna find a graphics card for you're not gonna get a good deal on something unless it's like really used, and that's a gamble.
Well, yes and no, because I
refuse to buy a used graphics card. I mean, for me, if I buy a used graphics card and then it just dies on me in the middle of a stream, that's an issue.
It depends on the card and who you're buying it from. Like I've
older cards especially. Older cards especially.
I've been going around and talking to people that like I know personally, as well as the mods, and just like seeing like who has cards and stuff like that, and then like they give me a price and I'll just it's like, all right, that's good, and then I'll buy the card off of them. And
how many cards do you have?
Well, I have my 1080 Ti, I have a 1060, and then Wheelhouse is selling me an RX 580, and then Reckless is gonna sell me a 1050 Ti, which I'll pair up with my other 1050 Ti, so that I can mine for a different crypto called Ravencoin, which is way less valuable, but
so the 1080 Ti that's for your computer. That's the one that you're actually using, right?
Well, that's the thing. I was gonna say, so I'm using them all for mining, including my 1080 Ti, but no overclocks, and the fans are up all the way all the time.
Okay.
So, because what usually kills electronics is the heat. So if you keep them cool, you don't have any issues.
Yeah. So, but what is so which are you using the 1080 Ti on your computer though? Like when you're playing a game, like what are you using? What graphics card?
Oh well, I just turn off the mining software and then I just
okay. Because I was gonna tell you when I get, because I plan on getting a PC this summer, a new one. You want my 1080 Ti? Give you a good deal on it, brother discount. Yeah, I know one of the mods wanted it, but we'll talk about it later.
We're all looking into getting 30 series cards through Newegg, because they have that Newegg shuffle where you basically just sign up to join a raffle where if you win, then you get the chance to buy a card. So like they'll be like, hey, yeah, you can buy the card. You have this 2-hour window to actually buy it, and then if you buy the card, cool. If not, sucks to be you, man. But it's probably the only way to get a new card for like a reasonable price. Like I saw a 3060 for like $390. I was like, yeah, it's not bad. However, 3090, I saw it for like $2,000, which I think is like double what MSRP is. So, or close to it, close to double. But I don't know. Here's the thing. Mining is an interesting way to get crypto, because if you have good cards and you don't need to buy them, like if you already have them ready to go, awesome. Like you essentially are only paying for the power and that's it. If you buy cards, right? Not only do you have to pay for the power, but you have to pay off the actual cards themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So the money that you make off of mining that crypto, it isn't necessarily like 100% what you're getting, because you have to subtract power costs and the cost of the cards. Plus, if you keep your crypto that you mined, the price goes up.
Yeah.
So it's like right now, the way that I was looking at it, I should be getting anywhere from like 2 to maybe 3,500 a year just from mining alone.
Yeah.
Okay, which is not that bad. I mean, considering
it's a good start.
I'm literally doing nothing while that's happening.
Yeah.
So it's like I just make $3,500 a year passively. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Instigator, and he was saying that like there's people who like decide to just invest their life savings in like mining rigs, and like they retire and just live off of what the things get them.
Which I mean, I don't think it's a terrible idea, but
it's a huge startup cost to like be able
Yeah.
to make enough to like live off of
Well,
and save some,
it,
because you definitely wouldn't want
y-
to just be living off whatever you make. You want to be saving some for the future.
yeah, because when I was talking to Wheelhouse about it, what we kept saying like, okay, like if you got 20, 30, 90s, you would make, I think it was like $200 a day. Okay, which that's insane. But that's like 20,000 or more. So that, for context, like that's like my entire life savings right now is $20,000. Mind you, I'm 19, so I think that's okay, but I wouldn't be dropping 20,000 if even if I had double that in life savings. So that's a lot of money right there. I wouldn't do that. But um, even then, like in order to break even, you would need to mine for at minimum 100 days straight, and that's without power costs. With power costs, probably more. Um, and then you need to keep mining, and then also have enough to pay for the power and to feed yourself, yada yada yada. So we basically agreed, like, yeah, if you're gonna do mining, like, if that's your main source of income, um, you're kind of screwed. So what you'd have to do is mine and work a day job, like work at a Subway or something, just to keep yourself afloat. And in the future, you'll have a ton of money, but during like that 2 to 3 year period of you just mining, like you're basically broke. Like it's just whatever money you can get from your job. So yeah, it's possible. I wouldn't do it. Um, I think if you're gonna mine, do something where you're at least gonna be able to like I said, make enough money to pay for power and not go homeless.
Yeah.
But
That's why you see these like giant warehouses, and like I think I saw a picture and they were like, yeah, this one's in like Alaska or something like that. But somebody literally had like a warehouse with like 10 different huge rigs of just cards on cards on cards, and everybody was like, so this is why I can't get a 2080 Ti or whatever when that card came out.
so
But
and when it comes to cards to actually get, you're really limited. Not only because of supply, but because of what you can actually use to mine. Because I have old graphics cards that I can't use for that. I could use it if I wanted to, like maybe just run the graphics on a computer so that I could boot into Windows or something like that. But those cards are garbage. Okay, so I'm not going to use them for anything but that, or maybe like a worst case scenario troubleshooting thing. So your cards need to be good enough to actually mine, and you also need to make sure that you like have enough knowledge and research done to uh, keep all that stuff running without any issues. Because once again, if you just ran it stock, right, and you're sitting there like having your mining rig going, the temperature shoot up like crazy,
mhm,
and you could kill your card pretty easily.
yeah,
So if you have your fan up, you're good. I was seeing some things where you could actually overclock and then lower the max power so that you can get the right amount of performance without killing your card
yeah, with the
either
excessive
with heat
heat, yeah, all
or
kind
with
of stuff.
yeah. So you could really get like a lot done if you know what you're doing. But if you're like, oh well, I have a GT 1030 that I could probably use, like I don't really do anything with it anymore, dude, you can't mine Ethereum with that. There's not enough
Yeah,
memory on it. You need at least like 5 gigs because it used to be that you needed 4 gigs minimum, but they have what are called epochs, where every so often the minimum requirement to actually mine goes up. So my 1050 Ti's, for example, I can't use those for mining Ethereum because those are 4 gig cards. But if I wanted to mine something else like Raven coin, not a problem. Okay, is Raven coin really worth anything? No, I get like $2 every 3 days from it.
Yeah.
But hey, I have those cards. I can use them for that.
Mhm.
So that's cool. I mean, with a 1080 Ti though, or like even a 1060, you're fine. Like you can totally do that, but only if you're not already using those cards. Otherwise, you might screw yourself over because you can't play games all of a sudden because your 1080 Ti died and you weren't paying
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah,
Which
definitely
is why I'm
don't.
trying to be careful.
Yeah, you got to be careful, especially if it's like the only card you have. You don't want to kill the only card you have. So I mean, that's basically the gist of my knowledge about cryptocurrencies. So I don't know if you wanna, you can move on to something else. I was gonna ask you, what do you, so, because we grew up playing consoles, okay, and I was gonna also bring up the fact that people found out how to mine with PS5s.
What?
Yeah, dude. Um, people were joking about how like it just got even harder to get a PS5 because people figured out how to mine with it, you know. Um, but we grew up with, first we had a PS2, which I don't think you played too much because you were super young.
Oh, we had a PS1 and a PS2. But we
Yeah,
barely
but
got
I never touched the PS1.
PS1.
I think I
Yeah.
tried playing Frogger one time and I was like, yeah, this is lame.
I thought it was fun, but I was like 5, so
I was into like Medal of Honor and stuff at that time already, so like playing something like Frogger got boring really quick.
and
My
Medal of
attention,
Honor's
my
not really that good compared to Call of Duty nowadays, but at the time it was pretty.
bro,
pretty
Medal of Honor Airborne, I still think is like, I mean, I think that secret, like in a way, it kind of carved the path for like battle royale because literally the
Dude.
concept is you could just jump wherever you want on the map.
Well, so there was one Medal of Honor where like I remember there was this mission where you had to sneak into this mansion.
So there was Medal of Honor Frontline, Medal of Honor Allied Assault, I think, Medal of Honor
There was that one that came
Vanguard.
out
Medal of Honor Vanguard was pretty dope. That one was hard. I remember being pissed because I was stuck.
That was the last one that came out, right?
No, the last one that came out. Well, they did Medal of Honor Airborne and then Medal of Honor, like just Medal of Honor, like it was like a reboot. Failed miserably, and then Medal of Honor. Well, it did terrible, and then Medal of Honor Warfighter came out, and that was considered like one of the buggiest games ever made, and nobody's heard anything about Medal of Honor since then. I think they should have stuck with the whole Airborne thing, where like you just jump anywhere you want on the map. Because you remember how I had so much. I think that game is one of those games back in the day that I have a ton of play hours on because I just kept playing it on different difficulties, you know, and trying to get all the achievements.
Well, because I gotta admit, like those games, if I went back and replayed them, I think I would enjoy the campaign so much more. But all I remember is there's just one mission where you have to like infiltrate this mansion with a bunch of Nazis, and dude, that was the coolest mission I think I've ever played in any Call of Duty type game, where it's like you're playing through like a historical war, right? It's like Call of Duty has never really had like missions like that where it was like you're almost like being stealthy to the point where it's like you're literally right next to an enemy, and the only thing that's protecting you is like a disguise. Because Call of Duty 4 had that all guild up
mission,
yeah, that mission's cool, but like it's basically if one dude sees you, you get shot.
Yeah, everybody turns on you. Yeah.
Yeah, that mission that I was playing,
it was ahead of its time.
Yeah, it was like you literally had to like show ID and stuff like that. So it was almost like
which is something like I want to say that's something that was kind of new about Black Ops Cold War was that one mission where like so it took them how long to make a mission like that?
That mission was so cool. Well, I think that's probably the closest thing that like I've ever seen. I think it's probably better than that Medal of Honor mission actually. But at the same time though, that was like what
like
14, 13 years ago.
Yeah, dude. And like I just remember Medal of Honor Airborne. I feel like that was probably one of the most cinematic war games at the time, and then Call of Duty 4 came out and just took over. Like when Modern Warfare came out, that's all anybody at school was talking about was my KD's this. I've got this many play hours. I'm this prestige. And it's like, God, go outside, bro.
When it comes to campaign, besides like the newer Call of Duty games like Modern Warfare and Cold War, because those are completely different from what Call of Duty used to be, in my opinion. What was your favorite Call of Duty?
Modern Warfare 2, hands down.
Really?
Yes, everybody's like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 2. But Black Ops 2, like the only reason they stepped up their game is because they had to live up to Modern Warfare 2. You know, and like Black Ops 1 came out after Modern Warfare 2, right? And people felt like it was a step back. It's kind of the same way that everybody feels about Black Ops Cold War being a step back to a even bigger extreme with Cold War, because obviously you could tell that this is a half-assed game that they just had to get out.
That wasn't their fault though. It's Activision's fault, but well, it's Sledgehammer's fault. They couldn't freaking get their crap together.
Yeah, it definitely could have been worse. We could have had a worse game.
Yeah, we could have had Advanced Warfare 2 or something dumb like that.
Well,
sitting there in exo suits.
How do you feel about everybody being upset that we're getting another World War II Call of Duty?
Dude, okay, I'm sorry. I like World War II games. I think historical warfare is so much cooler than modern warfare kind of games, because like it's like you're playing in the shoes of somebody that like you'll never get an experience quite like that. Like modern warfare, it's like, yeah, like you can go and do that, but it's like it won't be exactly the same. But it's like
I still think Cold War. Sorry, I think World at War is still the best like World War II game I've ever played.
Yeah, because the newer World War II game
was good. It was good.
They just called it World War II, didn't
Yeah, and I think that was the I think that was the first Call of Duty since, I want to say, Black Ops 3? Maybe it was Black Ops 3 or Advanced Warfare. There was one of them where like I just like there was like 2 games that I kind of skipped.
No, I think the last one that you played was probably either Advanced Warfare or maybe Ghosts.
Black Ops 3, I didn't play a whole lot. I didn't really care for it. Infinite Warfare, the multiplayer, I think I have like an hour in. It was that bad. And then, because people like throw grenades at you and all of a sudden you're like anti-gravity and they just shoot you. I'm like, this is such a stupid mechanic. The fact that I can literally just like, it's one thing to get stunned and be able to like barely be able to move, but to literally just be like frozen in the air where they can throw it behind a crate that you're hiding behind, and all of a sudden you're like in the air and they just shoot you with a laser gun. I'm like, this is just too far. It's gone too far.
Yeah, or there's that ability where like you're a robot and you turn into like a robot dog and you're on all fours chasing after people.
But I will say that I think Infinite Warfare's campaign is the most underrated Call of Duty campaign ever made.
Oh, for sure. Well, okay, how did you feel about Ghosts?
I feel like they tried something new. They tried a new engine, and it didn't feel like Call of Duty. It didn't feel like Call of Duty enough, and so people didn't like it because the game mechanics and everything just felt weird.
The issue they had was that they were trying to do too many things at once. Like they were trying to do
solid campaign. There's people who still want to Ghost too.
So it was multi-generational.
Hang on, you're cutting out.
Ports and stuff like that.
You're cutting out and freezing. I don't know if it's my internet or yours. Yeah, you're good now.
Oh, okay. So it was multi-generational ports, so they had it on next gen, which was at the time Xbox One and PS4, and then they had it on last gen, which was Xbox 360 and PS3. And so that was already one thing that was kind of messing with stuff. Then they tried to do a new engine. Then they tried to do something that was completely different from Modern Warfare. So they had to do a whole bunch of stuff, and I think they just had too many things on their plate, and that's what messed them up. Whereas, if like Black Ops 3, for example, it was supposed to be like it wasn't really a sequel to Black Ops 2, but it was meant to be. So they could stay in that same universe kind of. But new movement system. They already figured out how to do ports between different generations, although it wasn't done very well. Um, so they knew a little bit more about it. Plus, like, I think they really sold zombies
Yeah,
the
I
most
think
in
I
that
think
game.
yeah, I think zombies is really popular with Black Ops 3. The thing is like, so when you go back and watch like the dev diary stuff, basically what Treyarch said was like people liked Advanced Warfare until like probably 3/4 of the way into its life cycle, people kind of got bored of it. It had really good maps, and I think that's the reason why multiplayer and Doctor Disrespect designed some of those maps, baby.
Dude, the
Um,
guns felt so good in that
oh
game.
yeah, that was a
Sledgehammer,
solid game, man.
Sledgehammer knows how to make like good feeling guns because in World War II, same thing. The guns always felt super solid.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is that the thing was in Call of Duty's always been like, how do we make it bigger, better? It's like Mike. They're like Michael Bay. Michael Bay is like, all right, Transformers 2's got to be bigger, more expensive, more explosions. You know what I mean? And they were like, all right, people like Advanced Warfare. You know, they like the whole like being able to like jump, and you could do the exosuit like movement, but you can only go in a straight line. Like you can only go in like the movement was limited. Like you didn't have a whole lot of control of how you moved. Black Ops 3 was like, all right, now you have full range of motion with this exosuit. You can literally go like, you could slide around a corner, you can run on walls, you can do like everything. You can go in all directions with this exosuit. And that wasn't a thing. It was more limited in Advanced Warfare. And I think people are like, all right, like this is just too far. Now it's literally just people like jumping out of the sky and stuff coming after you. And it was just like too chaotic. And Call of Duty has always been known for being like boots on the ground, you know? And so people are like, what the hell? So that's why, and then like Black Ops 4, halfway through development, they decided, you know what? We're making it boots on the ground. And so like it's literally got like the same game mechanics, it's got the same engine, everything, except no exosuits. Because they
And
decided to ditch that.
I think there's a ton of
And no
maps that
campaign, dude. What the hell? They'll never
there's
make
a
that
ton-
mistake again.
there's a ton of maps that I think they literally had built it for the exosuits, but you couldn't use them. So
Yeah,
like,
so without the
it's like,
exosuits, it's like, what is all
yeah,
this open space and you can't do anything with it? It was
yeah,
so
and
weird, man.
um, but I liked how Advanced Warfare did the exosuits. To me, that felt the best. I know people were like, oh well, Black Ops 3, like there was a lot of skill with it because you could G slide and you could
Yeah.
like it was a lot more fluid. But for me, like with Advanced Warfare, because the actual exosuits felt so like clunky and like jury rigged, like it felt better because
Yeah.
it's not like you're some superhero that's just flying over the place. It's like you're still a soldier, but now you have this extra axis of movement. Like I thought that game was awesome,
Yeah.
and I only played it because of Merc Music, which his channel was like hilarious to me at the time because I was like 12 or something like that. Um, what about Titanfall?
So Titanfall 1, I was kind of late to. A lot of people were kind of concerned with the fact that it felt like you were paying 40, 40 or $60, whatever it was, for for a third of a game. You literally just got multiplayer.
Yeah, no campaign,
No
no extra mode.
campaign, no like co-op, nothing. Um, and Titanfall 2 is considered one of like the most underrated games made. And I remember playing through the campaign and the way that the bullets felt when you shot with the controller, how they sounded, everything. I was like, this is awesome. It just doesn't have the community around it that a game like Call of Duty or Battlefield or anything has. But Apex, I think, is got such a strong community now that if they did Titanfall 3, I think it would be a hit, honestly. And I think they know that because they're actually getting ready to. They've been teasing, and it's been a rumor, and they're like, oh, it'll never happen. They've been teasing that Titans are coming to Apex.
And E3 is happening this year, so if they're
Is
gonna
it?
reveal it, yes,
Is
they
it
say
going
they
to be like
confirmed it.
an online
I think
one?
it's digital for the most part, but here's the cool thing. They were saying that apparently there's going to be demos where you would like download the demo, and because of the internet being so much faster than it was
Couple,
5
yeah.
years ago, So like you just download a demo, it takes like 20 minutes or something like that. I think that'd be a great idea. Even just streaming it, like with Nvidia,
So
what's it called? GeForce Now or whatever.
what?
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I kind of got sidetracked because we started talking about Call of Duty, but I was gonna say, do you have any desire to get like a PS5 or Xbox Series X? I'm getting a PS5. I've got a content creator buddy who was like, hey, like, I got a friend. If you want one, let me know. Like, and you don't pay for it till it ships, so I'm still waiting for it to ship. But there's games
Yes.
on there that I want to play, and then I definitely could see myself like because like Resident Evil 8, there was a demo, and you can only play it on PS5. It's exclusive to PS5, so I could literally just take my PS5, plug it in, play this demo, and I'm playing something that not everybody can play on a stream. I think that is cool. Like it's almost like not everybody can do that. Not everybody can like play everything like that. So you see like Dr. Disrespect and Shroud do it all the time. Like a demo comes out and it's only on PlayStation. Everybody's watching them because like, only the big people have like all the consoles and stuff. So
I think the only reason why I'd go back to console is because part of me misses the feeling of the controller because I feel like when you switch from console to PC and your controller doesn't vibrate, like it's not like your keyboard vibrates, right? Which I think could be an awesome next step, but I don't know how they would do it.
I don't think your
Um,
keyboard, but maybe your mouse. If your mouse had
maybe
some
the mouse,
taptic
yeah.
feedback or something.
Yeah. But like that's probably the only thing I really miss because it makes shooting in a game feel way more legit. Like you actually have feedback, so it's like the guns have weight to them.
Yeah, I've heard people describe it like PC is like going from a
gas card.
it's like
one?
yeah, no, it's like going from a stick shift to an automatic. Like
Oh.
like I've heard that like the controller like you're not going to be you can't shift as fast as a computer in one of these new automatic cars can. Like the 10-speed automatic transmissions, they ship faster than a human's capable of. Like it's like that. Like on PC, you have way more control. You can do stuff faster, all kinds of stuff, but you don't have that same feel. Whereas on a controller, like people say they like I've heard people say they like using controllers because they just like being able to like feel things. Like they just like you said, they can feel movement, shooting, all that stuff. Like there's kind of like some feedback, and you're kind of more in tune with your movement and stuff. But I don't know. Last time I used a controller, it felt weird. Consoles are different now, but like I hopped onto like the Xbox One, and I remember feeling it be 30 frames per second. I'm like, this is so sluggish, bro. Once you get used to 60 frames, going back to 30, it feels like I don't know, man. It just feels weird. Doesn't sluggish.
Higher than 60 FPS if your PC is good enough.
Well, they're saying, well, yeah, I'm saying like once you get used to 60 plus frames, 30 just feels so slow in games.
Yeah.
Like it feels stuttery almost. But what I was gonna say is that the new consoles I think can put up to 120 FPS. So they're starting to that gap between a console and a PC is slowly closing.
The way that I would always put it is because whenever I would be at work and someone would like some kid would come up, hey, I wanna buy a gaming PC, and their mom standing there like, I don't think you should get a gaming PC because it's just gonna be for games. And I'm like, look, gaming PC doesn't mean it's just for games, right?
Yeah.
If you get a PC, you can do whatever you want with it, right? You could edit videos, you can draw in some cases, you could learn to code, stuff like that.
But you can't play games. But if you get well, I'm saying like if you buy like a cheap computer.
Let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you can play games, right? But if you get a console, it's just games.
Yeah.
Maybe you can watch YouTube and Netflix on there or something like that. But other than that, you're super limited to games. So you're better off if you're a parent, especially, buying a computer that can play games than buying a console.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting it solely for like the exclusives and stuff like that on the games. Like if you want to play Resident Evil 8, right? get a PS5. That's it. Okay. But if you're like, well,
I wouldn't
it's
even say
either
that. I would say more like if you want to play like The Last of Us 2 and Spider-Man and stuff like that. Like if that's the
well,
type of
no,
games that you care about.
I'm I'm saying like as an example.
Yeah. What
But if you're like, well, I want to play games, but I also like was thinking about getting into video editing, or maybe big one. If you're in school, especially if you're getting into engineering, you need a computer with those kinds of specs. Right?
Yeah.
Like something that can be fast.
Yeah. What I was saying though is like I've seen people come in and be like, "Hey, so like is 500 a good amount for a PC?" And I'm like, "No, I wouldn't spend less than 1,000 on a PC if you're trying to do stuff with it. Because you can get a cheap PC, like just a regular old Dell or whatever, right? And you can't play games on it. It's just not made for it. But like a gaming PC is going to be more expensive because you can play games, but you can also do that other stuff that you can with a normal cheap PC that you go to like Walmart and get.
I disagree because
about the 1,000.
Because okay, here's the thing. I know at Best Buy they have computers. At least last time I checked, they have some that are like $600 that have like a Ryzen 3
Mhm.
with like I think it was like a 570 or something, which
Yeah.
is it's a solid card. $500 or $600, like that's not bad. I think the prices got raised recently because of everything being super scarce.
Yeah.
But
You can't play Warzone on that
what makes you say that?
because I struggle to play Warzone with my computer. I struggle to get like 90
What are you
frames.
setting to?
Everything's on like the lowest it can be without sacrificing like visibility and stuff.
Bro, I don't know.
But I'm
what's up
streaming
with
at
your-
1080p.
Streaming is probably the issue though, dude.
Even when I play offline, I only get like an extra 15, 20 frames.
Yeah, not to mention.
But I
like,
have a
if you're-
Ryzen 9 3900X and a 1080 Ti. So if
most
you
of the
get
people that-
if you get a third gen Ryzen and like a 1660, you're gonna be playing on low settings and be struggling to get like 60 frames,
the
staying
thing is,
stable at 60 frames.
most people that are gonna ask about like a $500 to $700 gaming PC, they just want to get on PC.
Mm-hmm.
They're not worried about how good the game looks. They just want to be able to play on PC. Not to mention,
Yeah, but
sure.
like
Well,
if
hold on.
you're
because-
struggling to play games that are out right now, but in a year that thing is gonna have an even harder time. Like it's just not
Well,
worth it. You're
the
throwing
thing
away
is, like,
money.
one,
Just get a PlayStation.
you're just entering into that market.
Yeah.
And if the big thing you're struggling with is the graphics card, then you can buy a new one in a year or two, or however long it takes. Go mow some lawns, shovel some snow if you need to, if you have snow. But like, it's not about just the games. If you get a PC, you can do more than just play games with it. That's why I'm saying if you have just that much money, it's still better to get a PC, because if you're like, dude, I'm bored and I don't have a lot of games that I can play or whatever, there are free coding websites. There's plenty of things you can actually do online. Like, dude, you can make music for free if you get FL Studio. Like, they have a free trial for it. So like there's tons of stuff that you can do.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about that. But I have viewers who come in and they say that they're like, "What's a good price for a PC if I want to play the games that you play?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, Valorant's not that hard to run. Rainbow Six is kind of in the middle. It can be hard, but I mean, like, you got to understand that also if you're getting a PC for $500-600, right? Basically, what you're gonna pay for a console." You're gonna have like a 500 gigabyte hard drive. That thing's gonna fill up after like 2 games.
Dude, it says
You know.
It says for Warzone the minimum requirements is a 1650
Mm-hmm.
or a GTX 670, which is a piece of garbage, and an FX 6300 or an i3 4th gen. You could easily run Warzone minimum like settings if you really wanted to.
So if you go look up videos right now of people playing on the minimum settings, they're literally like videos like making fun of the fact that they say those are the minimum requirements, because you get crazy stuttering, the game crashes, you get more dev errors, all kinds of stuff, because it's struggling to render in the environment as you're like driving and stuff.
I'll have to look into
Every
it.
time they update this game, it gets harder to run. Like I lost like 10 frames the last big update, and like I saw other people complaining about it. Like anybody else lose frames? Like you're struggling to maintain frames or whatever, you know? Like it's a very demanding game. And if you play it on the minimum settings, dude, you're gonna be like, dude, I'd rather just go back to console because at least the console can render stuff in
It
and look
says
nice.
recommended specs to run at 60 FPS in most situations with all options set to medium is a 1660 with the Ryzen 5.
Mhm.
So I mean, for an extra like $200 or $300, then yeah, 1,000 maybe. So you might be right there. But
Yeah,
that's recommended.
Warzone is probably the most popular shooter right now. And so everybody that comes in saying that they want to play like, because I'll be like, what kind of games are you trying to play? Because if you're trying to play Warzone, probably going to spend a little bit more. Because like at the same time, like I've always said like if you're gonna spend that type of money, you might as well spend a little bit more to get something that's gonna last a little longer. You know, because it gives you time to save up for new graphics cards. You know, stuff like that. But if you're only able to spend like $500-600 on a PC, just get a console. Get a console and use the next couple of years to save for a good PC. Because you saw what happened when I paid like I was like I just want something that'll play this. You remember that? I was like I just want to play CS:GO. And then what happened? Literally a couple months later, I need more because I couldn't play what I wanted.
All we played was Killing Floor and CS:GO.
And Killing Floor, if there was too many grenades going off and zombies coming at me, I got crazy frame stutter. I would start to drop frames like crazy. And that was with the 1050 Ti and that AMD FX something. Yeah, something that like nobody's ever heard of.
So somebody says I have a GTX 1080 and i7 and 16 gigs of RAM, and the game still runs like garbage, especially compared to other games or on any non-1080p resolution.
Yeah.
Someone else said I have an i3 9100F plus 16 gigs of RAM, an RX 570, and an SSD. Game is smooth for me without any problem. Smooth, I mean it never dips below 75 FPS no matter what situation. Only problem I got with the game is packet loss. Do you play in full screen with VSync off?
There's a lot of little things that will affect it, but
yeah, I think your settings are dog water, bro. That must be what
mine?
it is. Also, I mean,
I've watched probably 2 or 3 hours worth of videos in the last month about trying to get the right settings and everything.
When you play or when you buy a, well, I mean, this is from 10 months ago, but so I don't know how accurate it is now.
So I mean, I have my settings tuned for my specs so that it is the most stable frames I can get while also looking decent. You know?
One thing I will say that's very important is what storage device you're using, because if you're using a hard drive, you're screwing yourself over.
I haven't bought a hard drive in 4 years.
I'm saying most people. Stungies was even saying he has I think he has Cold War on a hard drive.
Yeah.
I see Stungies are reckless. And it runs like poo poo. Because it's on a hard drive, because you can't get the assets fed over to your graphics card fast enough.
Yeah. So, I think hard drives are legit about to get phased out.
I mean, dude, I use them for like mining OSs.
Yeah.
I just load Windows 10 on there.
Yeah, I mean they'll still have their uses, but I just think that in gaming, I think they're gonna get phased out soon. They're just games are getting made to be played with an SSD now. Like I mean, you see like the PlayStation 5, they literally invented new SSD technology. So
yeah, I'm
patented. There's like 80 patents on it or something.
I'm excited to see
but
what kind of technology they start using for gaming now that they realize
like the PS5.
Faster.
I saw a comparison video where they show what it runs like on max settings on a high-end PC and then on the PlayStation 5. And because of how it loads in and everything, it looks better on the PlayStation 5. Like I saw somebody playing Rainbow and I was like, dude, this looks like almost like a new game. Like it looks like a remaster. It's weird, man. That PlayStation 5 is something else. I'm sure the Xbox Series X is too, but
I think it depends on a lot of things though, because even like with AMD, their Ryzen processors, they require faster RAM.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like it really depends on what kind of PC you get, because if you get a pre-built and it has a Ryzen 5 or a Ryzen 3 or
Yeah,
whatever, and the RAM is at like 2600 megahertz, something like that. It's like,
yeah.
bro, what are you doing?
And that's the other thing too. Right now it's a little weird because of the prices, but when you buy a pre-built, any other time except right now with the craziness with the graphics cards, it's always been you're paying more than what you would if you built it. And so a lot of these people are like, you know, is $600-700 worth it? And like, you're gonna get like with that type of money, you're gonna get a starter PC, you know, from NZXT or something, and it's just like,
That's what a lot of people are looking for from what I've seen though. It's just like I said, they're trying to enter into that community because at the end of the day, like
yeah,
if you wanted to put that same amount of money in a year or two, then you just buy
take
another graphic card and sell the old one.
take your $500 or $600, throw it in Ethereum, and then a year build up a monster like Pentagon
Yeah,
hacker PC.
because if you're 14, you can do that. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of these, you are right about the fact that I think a lot of them are just looking for a pre-built to buy. Like they just want to buy one and like to start with, you know, because they're like intimidated by it. I was intimidated by it, you know, when I first started. But the only, I'll tell you what, if I could, there's definitely things that I look at and I'm like, if I could go back to when I bought my stuff, I would change this and that, you know.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. Uh, the biggest mistake that I made when I first got my PC was using DDR3 RAM. I only did that because I was trying to upgrade the pre-built that we have that was like some little crappy like HP desktop, and I was like, oh, I'll put this new motherboard in there, and I'll use the RAM that I had from before, this and that. If I had just put all the money straight into like the best stuff, I would have saved maybe like $800. So
Well, I'll tell you right now, another thing is like these people that are getting into PC gaming, they look at like what Shroud's using and think that's what they need to get. You don't need a 240 hertz monitor. You know,
definitely not.
it's
You don't need a
overkill.
360 hertz monitor either because those
Oh,
are coming
dude,
out.
that has got to be the biggest scam. What game are you gonna get 360 frames in? CS:GO, Valorant.
Yeah,
That's
CS:GO.
about it. Like maybe Rainbow if you're playing on lowest settings possible and you have a 3080. Like,
Minesweeper.
yeah, because that's what these people are playing when they buy that stuff. But like, no, my monitor is 240 hertz, and you remember it was like $480 or something like that.
It was like more like 600.
I still have the receipt.
Well, you probably got it on sale, I think.
It was on sale, and I think were you working there yet? No.
No.
But if I could go back, I would have just got 144 hertz.
Well, that monitor is why I got hired there, right?
What?
Yeah, I got hired because of that monitor.
What do you mean?
They asked me what my favorite product in the store is, so I chose that, and I explained why it was a good idea to get that if you're trying to do gaming. And they were like, "Oh, well, you know your stuff," and I was like, "I guess." It's like, and so then they
That's
hired me
funny.
after that.
So I guess I don't regret it then.
That job sucks, man.
But anyways,
Oh, did I tell you I put my 2 weeks in?
no, you didn't.
Oh, yeah, I put my 2 weeks in.
What are you gonna do now?
So
You're just gonna do the crypto thing and
I'm gonna do crypto. I'm gonna stream, and then I'll post on TikTok, which I'm hoping to start posting this week. But I'm cleaning the crap out of my room so that, like, if I do post TikToks, my room doesn't look like a freaking like hobo's been living in my room for a year.
yeah. No, I saw I would pull it up, but I can't find like I wouldn't be able to find it that easily. I saw a meme that had me die, and it was like Joaquin Phoenix while they're filming the Joker, and he's sitting on the train with like a cigarette, like looking down, you know, like bummed out, and like there's
Right.
like the director and like a sound guy and somebody else, like they're all like arguing, and like it had above them, it was like um people with 30 series cards and people with 20 series cards like arguing about like the new specs and prices, and it's like me with my 1080 Ti and he's like sitting there.
Well, we'll have to talk more about PC stuff next time.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, we've covered the crypto stuff pretty well. There's not really a lot that you can say about it
Yeah.
right now because a lot of it's just like stocks. Like you could say, oh, you should invest in this, but like it's never guaranteed. For all that
Yeah.
you know, it could be like was it Enron, that one company that like they were saying that they were doing really well and they just like collapsed out of nowhere or something like I don't know. But
Yeah, I don't
cryptos
know.
and stocks, it's more of just like these are suggestions. They aren't 100%. Do what you want though. But,
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I think from now on, like I said, we'll start with one topic and kind of like go where we can from it. But we should definitely like pay attention to like the tech and gaming news to find stuff to talk about. You know, current
Yeah.
stuff. There's always stuff going on. But yeah, that's it for this one.
Till next time, guys.
Peace.